Hey guys, welcome back to another video about Journalctl. This video is going to be covering troubleshooting bootloaders, and I'm going to try to go over more than one example when it comes to doing this, because this is kind of a very in-depth video. I'm not sure how long it's going to take to get through, but I want to make sure that you guys fully understand everything that happens in this video, okay? So the essential commands we're going to be doing are as follows. Journalctl-b. So just type journal, hit tab. You could then afterwards type -b. This will show logs from the current boot session. And I'm going to leave it up on the screen because in this day and age, people still don't know, get this, that you can pause the video at any time and rewind. You can pause the video. I want you to utilize this. I want you to use common sense. I'm not trying to be mean. I want you to do better at learning. I want everyone to do better at learning. My job is to make Linux not scary for you. And to do this, you have to take all the tools that are available for you and utilize them. The pause button is one of them. All right? You can pause, look at the command. You can go back, hear the explanation. You could even go back and hear the examples. This is the point of visual learning. It's learning at your pace with content that is given to you by someone other than you. I tend to take things like this, deconstruct them in a way that anyone can understand. That is like a gift that I've been given, apparently. Not apparently, it's factual, which I enjoy, and I like to utilize this the best that I can. Now, the next command is journalctl-b-1. This will show logs from the previous boot, okay? This will show logs from the previous boot. That is journalctl-b-1, all right? The next command we're going to be learning is list boots. This will list all recorded boot sessions with IDs. This is helpful for things. I'm not sure exactly what, because I'm not all the way down right now in my thingy here. So basically, if you boot into a live USB, you mount your root partition. I have a video on that, by the way, for Cachy, and I need to do one for just normal Arch. But then again, look, if you're going to repair your Arch, just use Cachy boot or Cachy Troot. So you run the list boots, and it basically shows how many boot sessions that you've had. So 0, -1, -2. Like, there's a bunch of other things, and then we end up inspecting the last failed boot, and you could see that grub install error cannot find. Like, there's a lot of things that this can help you figure out. Okay? But it's still using journalctl. The next one is -b-1. It will only show kernel logs from the previous boot. That's what -k meant in the last video, is kernel messages. -b, as we know, is basically for the current boot, and -1 is for the last boot. Okay, so the commands will stay concurrent throughout this. And the next one is -u, and system md boot. Shows log for the bootloader service if applicable. All right. This one's pretty straightforward. So if a service is causing an issue, this will show it, and you should be able to solve it by disabling that service or repairing it. -p error -b. So shows only air level logs from the current boot. All right. So let's start with -b. Now remember, at any time you can pause, go back, and hear the explanations again. All right? It makes life super easy. And if you need to, you can also go check in the Discord. I have a Linux tips and tricks forum channel open for this. It's not for conversation, only for people that are able to help and expand upon it and maybe add other examples. But it's not for support. I have other channels for that. So we're going to do -b. Now, I don't know how to read any of this, but this information, if given to someone in support, could help them discover your issues. So this is the logs from the current boot. So I booted up into the 6.17.0 RC1 kernel, and split lock detection is on, unfortunately, but it's not going to affect me because I'm on NVIDIA. And as you can see, one second, so you can actually see. I'm sorry, but I have to do this. I don't really have a choice. Bunch of stuff executed. There's the EFI. So this is how Linux boots. It's pretty amazing. Your SM BIOS. My SM BIOS is MicroStar International Co. There's my motherboard, the current BIOS that I'm on, the memory slots that are populated, which is 4. So I have 4 RAM sticks, and it detects your processor's speed. Like, there's a lot of things in here that you can see. Secure boot's disabled, and then it's going to go over your ACPI tables, and like, learning this stuff is really, really important for figuring out errors. And if you ever need to, when you're looking through this, you can stop, and then you can look up what each thing means. Just like CPU topology, local package, 1 CPU, local dies, 2. Dies per package, 2. So I have 2 CDNs, or is that what they're called? 2 dies on my CPU. And threads per core, 2 cores per thread, per package 12, and blah, blah, blah. So it really does go over everything you need. And because I don't have an error when booting, this is not really going to show much. But I just want to go over it as much as I can with you. All right. It shows my full memory, which, believe it or not, is about 66 gigs, even though the system will only ever show 62 or 64. What else in here? And there you got your CPU idle governor. And there's just, this is your, again, your APCI tables. We actually utilize this in Hackintoshing to patch things on a level before the kernel loads, so that we can fix certain bugs and issues, or we can make hardware work that's not supposed to work. These are all your PCI devices. It's pretty cool. So all your hardware is now being shown. Your available bandwidth, things like this. All of this is really, really cool, and it's really long too. The boot process, it may take seconds, but it does all of this in seconds. Okay, so moving on, we're going to actually go and clear this out, and I'm going to zoom back in, and we're going to do -1 next. Let's begin, shall we? Why the heck is my webcam looking over there? There must be a ghost or something. Alright, so this is the last boot that I did. Okay? Now, it's going to look exactly the same as the current boot because, again, I booted up that previous kernel. Nothing changed. But if you had a crash, and if you boot it back up, and you went right to the very end, we're just going to hold this down, and we're going to go right to the very end. The last thing that you would see in the boot before the crash would be whatever happened. And that's the cool part. You'd be able to tell exactly what caused the issue or close to it, enough that you could give the information to anybody in a support channel, be it Nabara, CachyOS, PicoOS, System 76. And they basically, if they knew what they were doing, they could help you. These are all my USB devices. By the way, config failed, don't have any ports. That would be some weird thing going on with my system. I did report it to MSI, but I've not gotten any word back from it. As you can see, there's NVIDIA currently loading the 5070 Ti. There's my NVMe that is apparently missing or invalid sub NQN field. I don't know what the hell that means. There's optimal transfer bytes. These things in yellow are errors, are warnings, and things in red, they will be errors. Okay, so those will be issues. So right here, DaVinci panel rule 2 starts up, blah blah. This is me starting up DaVinci's Resolve and doing a video edit yesterday before I shut down my PC. And then you have it trying to load Intel audio, even though I don't have Intel audio. And Control C2 processes, See, the things in red are very, very important. The things in yellow can also show other issues, like internet issues. Yeah, possibly. Like, there's a lot of stuff in here. And can't find GDM user, GDM aborting, blah, blah, blah. Like, there's a lot of stuff. But here's the cool part. What if you don't have to look at it this way? You could do this. Last boot.txt, hit enter. Now, what that essentially will do is if you go in here, you'll notice that there's a last boot.txt. And here is the entire boot file from top to bottom. Now, here is where you can see I actually had a crash. This is Microsoft Edge. For some reason, when I moved Microsoft Edge from one screen to the next in Hyprland, it would crash. I switched to Flatpak version, it was solved. So I did that today, but this was the last boot, and you could see I was trying to solve it multiple times. It was happening, and then we shut everything down. Pretty cool, huh? So whenever you need a log of your last boot, remember to just do that. And it will go in your home folder as long as you're not like in any other folder. All right. So again, that was Journalctl-B-1, which shows logs from the previous boot. Now we're going to hit clear. We're going to zoom back in. If it lets us. I don't think we can zoom in anymore. Now, the last one just lists off your boots. As you can see, I have 3. So this is 1 would be the recovery kernel. Okay. 1 is going to be the LTS kernel. 1's going to be the normal kernel. Actually, this one right here is not the normal kernel. It's the RC kernel. And this is the normal 6.16.8 kernel. So these will show your entries. It's a bit unfortunate that they're not actually shown properly, like with names and such. But yeah, it is what it is. All right, on to the next one, because that one's not really something to take a look at, I guess. But here's another command you could do as well, which is if you have grub, you're able to see anything grub related. Or since we ended up dumping that, I may as well go back and expand upon this just a little bit. If we open with this, we can go to find and we can type things like USB, right? So if you have a USB issue or checking for NVIDIA issues, okay, I have none. NVIDIA is freaking flawless on my system, by the way, and I know that's going to set some people off, but you are able to cleanly look through the log using just search. And another thing, if you need to, let's say you want to open up to something like an AI and you switch to here, you go and you upload the log. It's right here. Any errors in this log, hit accept. It's going to look through the log. It's going to analyze it. But unfortunately, it's too big for this one. But normally, if the log isn't very big, right, it needs to be under a megabyte or so, AI will sift through it and it will give you somewhat of an idea of what you're looking at. Okay. Now, when doing this right here, which was a part of Journalctl-list-boots, if you have grub installed, you'll see grub, but systemmd boot, there's systemmd boot. See that? So you can change that to whatever bootloader you want. So if you have lemon, or lemine, as they like to call it, lemine, I'm going to call it lemon, it will show up lemon or lemine. So all of these things are something you can do. And if you have grub and you find that grub is broken, you can paste this command in, which targets and repairs and updates grub and all this stuff. And it would end up basically just solving your issues. This is the point about repairing boots and troubleshooting. Now remember, in that last section about Journalctl-list-boots, you can once again pause, go back and listen to the explanations and the examples. I am so thankful for YouTube on this, okay? All right. Now, on to the next part. Slow boot due to misbehaving services, okay? So this will end up showing if there's any issues that could cause you to have slower boot times. And so far, it just doesn't look like that's the case. From a zoomed in standpoint. Unknown transition, box transition. Look at all the errors I have inside of my, there's Edge. So Umbra Core currently has a lot of problems that I need to fix, clearly. There's some kernel issues. Well, not issues, warnings. And QTSVG, Umbra Core, no such file or icons has been detected. That's unfortunate. Oh, and look right here, we have a processed thread, a dumped core. Kind of cool. So yeah, this goes over a lot of stuff, but again, if you need to, dump this to slow boot .text. That way you'll have a better look at it, because sometimes it can cut off. All right. And you can also, because of this, you can check which services are causing a problem by going into files, opening up last slow boot right there. And what you do is you would search service. Okay, there's 26 services here. And you could find out which ones are not working very well. That would cause your slow boot, and you can disable them if they're not like well needed. But then again, you also have a log to hand over to someone else who can help you with these situations. All right, the next one is a boot loop that is caused by Initramfs issues. Entering this command will show you everything you need to know related to the Initramfs, what it's doing, what it has done, the example of things. So let's say that you're stuck in a recovery boot loop. You boot into recovery mode, you run this command. It could show that your Initramfs, that it's unable to find the root device. And you just would end up rebuilding the, I wonder, does this command run? Oh, wow. So this command actually does run on Cachy. And that's the command you would end up running right there. I did not know that. See, you learn new things every day. But there you go. Actually, let me hit clear first before I show you that. There you go. That's the command that I used to rebuild the Initramfs. So initiating the RAM file system. As far as I'm concerned, that's what it says. Yeah, that's a pretty cool command. All right, moving on to the last one. So this one kind of combines a lot of things together. So let's paste it first. So as we know, Journalctl is what we're using. -B is the current boot, right? Then -1 is the last boot. -P will show errors. That's what that's for. And -U shows logs from the bootloader service if applicable. No entries. See that? No entries. So it's a super all-in-one command type thing. But I hope you guys found this video helpful. Please remember, please, to at any time stop the video, go back, check again, and learn to the best of your ability. No one is forcing you to accelerate your learning process. You are in complete control. These are very useful commands and practices to get used to so you can troubleshoot your own system. Now, if you present these logs to somebody and they're helping you through troubleshooting, do yourself a favor, take notes. This is how he helped me. This is the command he helped me with. This is what he ran me through to do. And that way, if you ever need to go back and fix that same issue, or you have a different issue that's related, you are able to fully figure out everything that happened. Now with that, I'd like to thank you for watching. This has been part 2 of learning or mastering Journalctl. Part 3 will be available probably Wednesday, because again, I do not want to overload you guys with information. I'd rather just, you know, slowly work it out. And don't forget to bookmark the missed videos playlist, because that helps me go back and watch any videos that you missed. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here, like the video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.